North Carolina state lawmakers say they plan to make 2026 the year to focus on affordability. And for many local families, that just means getting food on the table. Here in downtown Miami, commissioners prepared to make their final vote on whether fluoride should be removed from the water and sewer system. I spoke with multiple students aboard the shuttle who say that when they returned to campus, that no UM personnel was there to talk to them and that they were not contacted by administration. Not only did Louis receive the incredible honor of being this year's Cadbury Bunny, he's the first raccoon to ever win the contest. Labubus are taking over University of Miami campus culture, but so are their fake counterparts, aka Lafufus. Here's how you can tell the difference and make sure you don't get scammed. And for one-person households like Barbara's, they get this much food that can last them the whole month. Past this road behind me, these woodlands have caused some commotion and stretch almost 9 acres, but nobody's touched them in 100 years, leaving them overgrown.
But how long does it take during peak class time to find a parking spot in Red Lot? I'm going to time it myself to find out.
It's not just about helping those who are currently incarcerated, it's also about helping their families who are really just going through the trauma with them. In fact, in Florida alone, more than 300,000 children currently have a parent behind bars. Speaking of substances, ultranauts are not permitted to bring their own Narcan, which, if administered, can reverse an overdose.
Every year, CycleSteps has a different theme, and this year's theme is One World, One Fight.
Which is why they decided to start booting cars last month. And the only way to unboot your car is by paying your ticket fine immediately. Yeah, Nicole, North Carolina state lawmakers say they plan to make 2026 the year to focus on affordability. And for many local families, that just means getting food on the table. But with this recent inflation, as well as the lasting effects of the longest government shutdown from last fall, Wake County residents are in need of help that they never thought they would have to ask for.
Oh my God, this is good.
78-year-old Barbara Winston has lived in Garner for more than 40 years.
I love the peacefulness.
The price of that peace, even for a one-person household, keeps going up. The latest inflation report shows wholesale prices are up 3.4% compared to February of last year. And just in the last month, grocery prices are up even more, with vegetables jumping 50% and fruit 10%.
When you are having to make the choice between paying a power bill, keeping the water on, and feeding every person in your family, it's a very tough choice.
Community of Hope Ministries caters to every family's individual needs. And for one-person households like Barbara's, they get this much food that can last them the whole month.
In February 2026 alone, Community of Hope served close to 600 families with enough groceries to make 45,000 meals. But keeping up with the demand isn't easy, especially with rising oil costs.
When you look at overall cost, operational cost for large farms, we know that that impact will trickle down to us and our ability to buy retail.
Jen Norden, who relied on Community of Hope's food pantry in the past, knows she can always count on them as her family needs change.
As prices grow and as gas gets higher and higher, and those of us that have to drive and commute, it's a nice feeling to know that the community still has this here.
For Barbara, her monthly bag is full of more than food. It's also full of love.
Oh, it's just wonderful. I love to love.
As you just saw, Barbara was very excited to show us around Community of Hope's facility. But now let's put her needs into a broader perspective. In Wake County alone, 1 in 8 people are food insecure, but it's organizations like Community of Hope that continue to fight against inflation and try to make sure nobody in the community goes hungry. In downtown Raleigh, Amanda Mohamad, WRAL News. Just past this road behind me, these woodlands have caused some commotion and stretch almost 9 acres, but nobody's touched them in 100 years, leaving them overgrown and full of invasive species. Palmetto Bay began leasing these woodlands back in 2019 with plans to make them into a park. Fast forward to 2025 and the land remains untouched and there is no formal proposal to change them.
Dozens of Palmetto Bay's 25,000 residents attended the Village Council's budget hearing on Monday, September 8th to ask their local officials to protect an 8.7-acre piece of woodlands. which they call the woods.
My husband and I, we go for walks around it. It's a source that has held our whole neighborhood together.
Over the years, the woods have not only protected homes, but also saved lives.
We were at the peak of the winds of Hurricane Andrew, and you didn't get any higher than where we are. All around us, the houses were destroyed. Ours were not. The woods kind of gave its life for us. We'd like to return the favor.
That favor, preserving the land and restoring it into a small park, an idea discussed when Palmetto Bay leased the woods from Miami-Dade County in 2019. But a formal proposal to build the park has not been made since then, so the land remains zoned as agricultural. Village officials are now considering giving the land back to the county, pointing to $40,000 in yearly maintenance costs, more than 40 invasive species, and a full restoration that could take at least 5 years and cost more than $1 million.
We don't have the funds to be able to remediate the property in the way we have contracted with the county to do so.
But after listening to residents' concerns at the budget hearing, Mayor Cunningham wants to assure Palmetto Bay residents not to worry about the woodland's future.
That we're not returning the land. We're looking at zoning it Parks and Rec, which I think will give it more clout to remain a green space.
My husband and I, this is the only house we own. We're just middle class, but it's like a dream come true.
Amanda Mohamad, UMTV.
It might sound like chaos, but these screams are actually therapy. Every Wednesday night at downtown Miami's Margaret Pace Park, a group called the Miami Scream Team gathers to yell away their stress. It all started when yoga instructor Marissa Cardenas ended one of her classes with a spontaneous group scream. The idea took off, and now it's a weekly tradition. The night begins with calming yoga, then builds up to one big collective shout by the water. Experts say this combination works. Yoga boosts feel-good brain chemicals, while screaming releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. The result? A community of people finding calm by getting loud. We begin this evening with the breaking news. A Raleigh 19-year-old faces federal charges after prosecutors say he threatened to become a mass shooter. Nearly 1,000 of America's top military leaders from around the world meet in Virginia. Russia fired almost 600 drones and 50 missiles at Ukraine, killing 4 people in Kyiv and injuring dozens across the country. What do those relationships look like? What do those interactions look like between the blind students and the sighted students? The U.S. government is 22 days into its shutdown, tying it as the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. A one-of-a-kind school in the heart of Brickell has reopened with a new model of education and housing. I'm Amanda Mohamad. Have a good night.